What's going on, everyone? It's your boy Ethan. Hope you're having a great freaking day. Today I'm so excited because Resorts World, Meetup game time. Got a bunch of 2-5 tables here. Myself and Mariana will be hopping around in the streets, and we're gonna spend a bunch of time here hopping around through all the different tables. It's kind of packed, to be quite honest. There's already 6 or I think 8 tables running. There's 140 people on the list still, and we're gonna be here for the next 5, 6, 7, 8 hours, however long we want to be here for. So I'm excited. The games are getting underway. We're gonna hop into the action, and I'm looking forward to meeting everyone that came out. So if you came here, thank you so much. Love meeting you guys, and looking forward to the next couple hours playing some poker here. I'm gonna bring you guys along the action, so thanks so much for watching this video and coming out, and let's get into it. Hope you enjoy. Okay, everyone, into the Resorts World Meetup game madness here. I buy in for $1,200, and one of the first hands I look down at, Queen 8 of Hearts. I'm in middle position with a button straddle. There's an early position limp, and I raise to $50. We get the button and limper to make the call, and we're going 3 ways to a flop, starting off with fireworks. The flop comes 9-6-4, a bink, all hearts. So sick to start off flopping the queen high flush, and when action checks to me, I bet out small for $50, and surprisingly, both players make the call. So loving the action here so far. When the turn comes, the 8 of diamonds doesn't really change the board a whole lot, and action checks to me again. Certainly happy to fire away for value, and with both players in, hoping I can get some action, I bet 200. But sadly for $200, both fold. But all things considered, it's a really good start to the Meetup game, winning with a flush. Next hand, we get moved to another table where we're playing a double board PLO bomb pot. 7 ways, $20 each. We're off to a flop, which comes ace 3 deuce rainbow. Second flop, king 6 3 2 diamonds. And I peel somehow, someway, pocket aces. Ace, ace, 4, 5, so have the entire first board locked up and open-ended on both boards too. When action checks to me, I just have so much going on for my hand. I bet $65 with top sets, open-ended straight draws, the whole world, and for $65, we get 2 players to make the call. We're going to a turn when the top board comes a board pairing deuce, bottom jack. So now improved to top full house, basically the nuts, and still open-ended on the bottom, so plenty of equity there. I decide to bet out $250 now, and when the player to my left decides on making the call, so we have action, pot is really building up early on in this Meetup game, then the cutoff player decides to put in a raise. Raises it up to 600, and this is what dreams are made of. Basically having the top board all locked up and knowing that I'm going to at least scoop it, I decide on just making the call for $600, basically hoping that the player to my left will make the call and it'll bloat the pot up, and basically assuming I'm going to chop it 2 ways. Anyways, things don't go according to plan as my left folds, so now we're just going to a river heads up. The rivers don't change a whole lot on the board. We brick out on the bottom with our open-ended straight draw. I decide to check. This player goes all in, and obviously with pocket deuces, I make the call. I let him know I have a boat, and we go to the audio.
I got quads.
No. Oh, shit. No.
And I got a 6 on. I got aces on the bottom.
Aces on the bottom. Okay.
Oh, no. To my surprise and to everyone else's surprise at the table, I run into quads. Pocket deuces up top is going to beat my full house, but luckily for me, he doesn't have much on the bottom board, as pocket aces will at least win on the bottom. Got pretty lucky, chopped in a very unconventional way, but at least there's no real blood, and I win a little bit of money on this hand.
Hey, that's half a winner, right? That's half a winner.
Nice, nice job.
You got it. I'll find you.
Oh.
Thank you.
As the night goes on, the hands get crazier, and this hand, everyone's down to gamble on this table, and yeah, I'm in the $80 straddle. So very fun table so far, and even more fun as I'm on the $80 straddle. The player to my left goes all in for $650. Action folds to me, no one's gonna call it, and I guess it's my time to do the bidding and peel the cards. First card is a queen. Wow. Really good start. Looks like I'm going to commit another $570 in this, but the queen is followed by an offsuit 6. Sadly, can't call the all-in. I fold. Let's try again next hand. In the next hand, things get, once again, crazy. We're playing 2-5 with a $10, $20, $40, $80 straddle once again. I'm in the $40 straddle. Player to my left who just won that all-in is in the 80, and action folds to me. Basically playing 40-80 on this table, and I peel Jack 10 off suits. I want my $80 straddle back. I jam, rip it all in as I have like 10 big blinds, and we're in tournament mode. Jack 10 off, I guess it's an all-in. The player to my left shows King 10 of diamonds. Oh no. This player is thinking about it for a while, and obviously it's a pretty friendly table, and he's thinking out loud and showing his cards. I'm praying for a fold because we're obviously dominated, and sadly he makes the call finally. It's the right call for sure. King 10 versus my Jack 10, and for about $880 in a stack, he wins. Turn was almost a jack, but still GG's. King high will take it down. Definitely a fun gamble and worth the attempt to rip it all in with Jack 10.
Oh, so close.
Okay, as fun and gambly as that table was, it's time to move on. Moving on to my third table here, I have ace 8 of hearts in middle position. There's a straddle under the gun, and I raise it up to $50. I get the button to make the call, and everyone else folds. So heads up to a flop of Jack 7-7 to hearts. Here, I'm out of position with a nut flush draw, and I think there's merit to checking a lot of times, so that's what I decided to do. I check it over to him, and this player checks back. So when the turn is a 10, now I have a combo draw, which is pretty nice, but on this paired board still, as played, I start with a check on this turn card. Now he decides to fire off $75. Man, that's a pretty large bet, and I'm thinking calling with ace high seems pretty bad as I'm just calling out of position versus a very big bet considering the size of the pot. So instead, I decide to check raise to 250. For this sizing, $250, he is not deterred. He makes the call, so maybe he could have a draw, maybe he can have a jack. I'm not sure, but I don't think he has a 7. Anyways, he makes the call for 250, and the river is now an ace. So we missed all of our draws, but somehow stumbled into top pair. And that's definitely one way to get there, I think, up against the jack. Like I said, I don't think he has a 7. So out of position, I decided to fire out $300 now for value. Maybe he can get a sticky jack to call. But once he calls super quickly and shows 8-7 of diamonds, ouch. We kind of valued ourselves on the river here. He was never going to fold, so I needed to hit my straight draw or flush draw, but anyways, we ship the pot his direction. Nice hand. After losing that big pot, time to be on the comeback trail. I pick up 8s under the gun, and I'm on the $10 straddle. There's an early position open to $25. 3 players make the call to me, and for $15 more, sure. I'm in here, I make the call out of position, and we're going multi-way to an 8 high flop. That's right, it's 8-6-5 rainbow. And now, pretty sick spot as I can make some of my money back after the punt the last hand. Action checks to the early position player who c-bet $60. There's a cutoff who makes the call, and you know damn well I am not making the call here with top sets. I put in a check raise to $250 here. I get a lot of value from overpairs, from straight draws, and I don't want to give out free turn cards for a good price. Anyways, for $250, early position player makes the call. The other player folds, and we're off to a turn which comes a board pairing 6. Yep, a full house here is going to be pretty good. Basically, lock up the check mark for me to win this hand. This player has about $500 behind in his stack, and I definitely want to commit his entire stack by the river, and I think the best way to do that here is to just go small. Certainly could have gone all in, but I decided to bet $200, and for $200, this player thinks about it and ends up making the call, hoping that now everything is going to go according to plan. The river is a brick 3. I go all in as played. Obviously, I have top boat. But for $300 effective, he folds. So I didn't get max value here. Maybe just jamming turn makes the most sense. But once he folds, of course, I'm going to show the goods and win a good chunked pot. Following that hand, I get moved once again to another new table, and I peel ace-king offsuit in the hijack. There's a button straddle, and action folds around to the player to my right, who limps in for $10. For this $10, certainly going to be bumping up the price of poker, so I put in a raise to 50. Action folds around back to this limper, and he decides to do something interesting and limp raises to 150. Wow. This certainly seems super strong, but this player only has about $550 in his stack, and with the straddle, it's about 50 big blinds. So I'm not sure what makes the most sense here besides just going all in, closing my eyes and shipping ace king here. So that's what I do for about 50 bigs. I jam. He just ends up making the call, sticking his stack in there, and as the first aggressor at this meetup game, I'm happy to show first I have my ace king. I wish the other opponent good luck, and right when that happens, I bink top on the flop. Ace high flop, followed by a relatively clean run out, and he ends up showing a queen in his hand, then mucking. So ace king wins, and it's nice to scoop a couple $100 my way, and winning this pot, I think now, after my Jack 10 punt, I'm in the black. This next hand seems pretty fun and a lot to think about here, so I would love to hear your comments below after I go over this hand. Let's get into it. I have King Jack offsuit in the cutoff. There's an early position open to $15. Here, I certainly could go either way with just a call or 3-bet, and for 15 bucks, happy to play a lot of hands. I decided on a call. The big blind ends up calling as well, so it's 3 ways to a flop of Jack 10-9, 2 spades, and a heart. Action checks to me here, and with top pair, gutter to the best straight, I decided to blast off $40. Big blind folds, and for this $40 bet, she ends up making the call. We're off to a turn, which is the 7 of hearts, bringing in a 4-liner here. Any 8 makes a straight, and with 2 flush draws out there, she checks again, and decision point to bet or check. If I bet here, I think I'm turning my top pair into a bluff and just kind of betting my range and basically saying that I should have a lot more 8s than her, which I think is correct. Certainly could just check with top pair, but don't think I'm going to win the pot that often here, so I decided to go for it. I bet out $125, turning my top pair into a bluff, and for $125, she ends up making the call. I'm thinking now it would be really unfortunate if she has a hand like pocket queens that wouldn't really be able to fold much. But we're off to a river, which is the 8 of spades, so definitely a weird card. She checks for a third time with about $800 to $900 behind, and I think about this spot for a while. Once again, can I ever turn my hand to a bluff? Can she ever fold a hand like pocket queens here, for example? Could she ever fold the straight as I can rep a flush with a spade in my hand? And ultimately, I think better of it. Take my Jack X to showdown, not expecting to win ever, and check back. She has Queen Jack with the Queen of Spades, so my bluff certainly would never have worked as she ran into a straight, also blocking some strong flushes. So I guess I end up losing the medium? It's weird to say if I should have bluffed or not, and that's why I want to hear your thoughts in the comments below about this hand. Was definitely a tricky spot, and don't know if I played it right or not. For one of the last hands of the night, I looked down at King 10 of diamonds in the cutoff. There's one player who limps, a low jack raised to $20, and I've been pretty inactive here so far, so I decided to 3-bet to $65. For $65 to get the limper and low jack to call, so we're playing 3 ways in position. The flop comes Jack 7-6, rainbow. 1 heart, and action checks to me. Here, I've totally whiffed. We're playing multi-way. Don't really want to bluff with a whole lot of nothing in my hand. I check this one back. When the turn is the ace of diamonds, that's pretty cool. And once again, action checks to me. Look, I have king high. I guess the ace could hit me a lot more than other players, and let's go for it. I decided to fire out $150 into the middle, and when the limper makes the call, certainly didn't expect that. Maybe he could have a weak ace, he could have a jack. Not really sure what people are limping with nowadays, but when the low jack player folds, we're going heads up to a river. The river comes a 6. Board is paired, I'm sitting with king high, and this player checks it over me for a third time. Thinking whether I should give up or apply max pressure. You know which way I lean towards if you watch this channel enough. I go for max pressure and bet out $700. For $700, oh man, this player goes deep into the tank and I need a fold. Like, please, guy, need you to fold because if you call, I lose and I'll turn my positive session into a negative one after all this time of playing. And for $700, he ultimately folds. Thank goodness, because this one was like a do or die situation. If he called, then I'm losing this session for the night, and this one hand would have been a huge punt. But he didn't call. So that's all that mattered. I win this one, get the chips pushed my way, and it's a nice way to end the night. Wrapping up this video, just got home from a very long meetup game and session. I mean, absolutely incredible, the turnout. We literally packed the entire Resorts World poker room and it was sweet. So very first meetup game in Vegas was a huge success, and a big thank you to everybody who showed up, especially Johnny Vibes and Matt Vaughn, who came to support the whole event, and everyone that just came out. It was awesome. It was super fun. Had a bunch of drinks, met a lot of you guys, and it's definitely a night that I won't forget. So at the end of the day, we were in the game for 2,200, out of the game for 2,485. So a little bit of a profit after that fun hand that we may or may not have punted off like 800, 900 bucks in the crazy straddle hand on that table. So a lot of fun regardless. Looking forward to the next meetup game and hopefully one coming soon back at Resorts World. That would be awesome. But if you like this video, you made it all the way to the end, please hit that like button. It's always much appreciated, and it also helps me and Mariano to host more of these events, whether it be in Vegas, in LA, random places across the country. I mean, I'm always down to travel. So appreciate you guys for sticking around. The continued support on this channel has been incredible and the journey's been sick. So that's all I got. Thank you for everything. I owe all the success I have to you guys who watch the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Good night. Peace.